Welcome to the debate. Today we are dissecting a fascinating and, I would argue, an absolutely critical artifact of the modern corporate world. We're looking at a document titled, simply, the Technical Meltdown Script.
It sounds dramatic right out of the gate.
It is dramatic. In fact, the source material explicitly categorizes the event under the header drama. But specifically, this is a codified approach, a set of instructions for handling those agonizing moments in a presentation when the technology just fails. It breaks us down into three parts: the broadcast of the issue, the hidden English behind it all, and then finally the rescue line.
And that structure is exactly what we need to unpack. Because the central question here, it isn't just about, how to fix a router or unmute yourself. It's about the very nature of this script. Is this technical meltdown protocol a necessary professional standard, a way to maintain composure and flow? Or, as the source material's own label of drama suggests, is it actually a performative act, a way to deflect accountability by, baking or at least exaggerating technical issues?
I'm approaching this as a steadfast proponent of the protocol. I see this script not as theater, but as a vital crisis management tool. In a remote or hybrid world, which is, where we all live now, this script is the difference between a minor hiccup and a total loss of credibility. It's really about respecting the room.
And I'm coming at it with a heavy dose of skepticism. I look at this source material, particularly the specific vocabulary like drama and repercussions, and I just see something calculated. I'm arguing that this script, more often than not, serves as a shield. It lets a speaker categorize a failure as external, using terms like glitchy or buffering to mask, deeper issues, whether that's a lack of preparation or just a simple loss of control. It feels less like crisis management and more like crisis manufacturing to escape scrutiny.
That is a very cynical take, but I expect nothing less. So let's lay out the groundwork. My position is rooted in the reality of the medium. When you're presenting digitally, you are at the mercy of the infrastructure, you're fighting entropy. The source material outlines a rescue line that's intended to keep things moving. My argument is that in a high-pressure environment, when the screen freezes, you don't have the luxury of improvisation. Improvisation just looks like panic. You need a script. This technical meltdown is a legitimate strategic response to digital friction. When the source details the broadcast, that moment you announce, "My Wi-Fi is acting up," that isn't deception. That is a leader identifying a bottleneck and addressing it efficiently.
He is. And my position is that the language this source material recommends reveals a desire to manipulate the room's perception of what's happening. If this were purely a technical manual, the source wouldn't categorize the whole event under the heading drama. That is a very specific, very loaded linguistic choice. Drama implies a staged performance. It implies a narrative arc is being imposed on the audience. So when the source links drama to the phrase "screen froze on me," it suggests that the freeze is the inciting incident of a performance designed to get sympathy and patience, rather than just solving a problem.
I think you are getting hung up on a label and you're missing the utility. But okay, let's dive into that label, because it's the first point of contention. You're focusing on drama.
It's the headline of the section. You can't just ignore the headline.
I'm not ignoring it, I'm contextualizing it. You are interpreting drama through a theatrical lens as something artificial, something staged like a soap opera. I interpret drama in the source as a descriptor of the emotional temperature of the room. Think about the last time you were presenting and your slide deck just vanished, or the audio started looping. The data stops. That is dramatic. The tension spikes, the audience gets restless, you can feel the eyes on you even through a webcam. The script is designed to de-escalate that inherent drama, not manufacture it.
But does it de-escalate it or does it just frame it?
It manages it. When the source explicitly defines the drama as a presentation where the Wi-Fi is acting up and the screen froze on me, it's describing a universal feeling of helplessness. That moment of helplessness is the drama. The script provides a way to regain agency. You're focusing on the semantics, I'm focusing on the psychology of the room. The drama is the problem, the script is the solution.
See, I think the semantics reveal the psychology. It goes deeper than just the header. I'm looking at the hidden English section of the material. This, for me, is where the mask really slips. It lists standard terms like glitchy and buffering, which, seem innocent enough. These are words we use every day. But then, right next to them, it throws in the word repercussions. That is the tell.
How is that a tell?
Repercussions implies consequences. It implies punishments. It implies fear. If my Wi-Fi is genuinely just acting up, I'm annoyed, I'm frustrated, I might be embarrassed, but I am not fearing repercussions unless I am using the technical fault to cover for something else. Or I guess, unless the culture I work in is so toxic that a dropped packet leads to a dropped paycheck. I argue that the rescue line isn't about saving the meeting. It's about buying time to escape those repercussions. It's a way to hit the eject button, regroup, and avoid the immediate heat.
I see why you might link those two, but let me offer a counter-interpretation of repercussions within the context of the hidden English. You see it as what? Evidence of a guilty conscience? Fear of being fired? I see repercussions as a technical descriptor, as shorthand for the downstream effects of the lag. When a video feed is glitchy, there are repercussions for the data integrity. There are repercussions for the audio sync. The hidden English is acknowledging that a simple buffer has a cascade effect on the communication. It's just acknowledging the blast radius of the error.
That feels like a massive stretch to me. Engineers talk about latency, they talk about packet loss or jitter. They do not talk about repercussions in a server log. Repercussions is a human resources term. It's a management term. It's a principal's office term. By grouping it with glitchy and buffering, the source is subtly linking the technical failure to professional survival. And while we're on language, look at the phrase "screen froze on me." The source uses that specific construction. The screen didn't just freeze, it froze on me. It personalizes the technology's antagonism while at the same time it absolves the speaker of blame. It frames the speaker as the victim of the machine.
Because in that moment, they are the victim of the machine.
But look at the agency. The Wi-Fi is acting up. It assigns agency to the router. It's acting up, behaving badly, like a misbehaving child. This language is designed to get sympathy. By labeling it drama, the source acknowledges that this is a social interaction, not just a technical debugging session. If it were just about utility, the script would be connection lost, reconnecting, cold, factual. But it's not. It's a whole narrative about a struggle against a glitchy adversary. It turns an IT problem into a protagonist versus antagonist story.
I think you are overanalyzing standard colloquialisms to find a conspiracy. Acting up is just how we talk about machines. We anthropomorphize them because they are unpredictable. But let's assume for a moment that there is a performative element. Let's say you're right. Is that inherently negative? In a professional setting, we are all performing competence. If the tool, the Wi-Fi, fails, maintaining the performance of competence is crucial. If the hidden English implies repercussions, as you say, then that actually validates the necessity of the script. If the stakes are that high, if the repercussions of a bad presentation are severe, then having a prepared, codified response is just smart leadership. It's not deceptive to want to keep your job. It's self-preservation.
But at what cost to transparency? This brings us to the rescue line. This is the core of the script. The text is very specific. My Wi-Fi is acting up. I'll rejoin in 2 minutes to keep things moving. There is a brilliance in this syntax that I think you're viewing as efficient, but I view as evasive.
It is the opposite of evasion. It's assertive. I mean, let's break it down. My Wi-Fi is acting up. Cause identified, neutral, blameless. I'll rejoin in 2 minutes, timeline established. To keep things moving, goal stated. It hits every single note of crisis communication.
Stop right there. To keep things moving.
Yes, it's the objective.
In what world does leaving the room keep the meeting moving? It stops the meeting. It creates a dead air vacuum. It halts the proceedings entirely.
It prevents the limbo. That is the alternative. You have to compare it to the alternative. The alternative is the speaker staying on the line asking, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me?" for 45 seconds while their video stutters. That is dead time. That is painful for everyone. By executing the rescue line, you are cutting the cord. You're saying, I am not going to subject you to this degraded signal. I am going to reset and return at 100%. It frames the disconnection as a strategy for efficiency. It's a power move.
It's a smoke bomb. I'll rejoin in 2 minutes. You enter the drama of the technical failure, you drop the smoke bomb of the rescue line, and you vanish. In those 2 minutes, you are unobserved. That is the key. When you stay on the line while buffering, everyone is watching you struggle. They see the sweat, they see the fear in your eyes. By saying, I'll rejoin, you sever the connection, you go dark. In those 2 minutes, sure, maybe you restart the router, but you can also take a breath, you can check your notes, you can fix a slide that actually was the problem, you can blame the internet for what was really a lack of preparation. The rescue line allows the ninja to vanish and reappear composed. That isn't keeping things moving in a linear sense, it's editing the live feed of your performance. It's post-production happening in real time.
But isn't that editing beneficial for the audience? Do you want to watch the sweat? Do you want to sit through the struggle?
I want the truth.
I think you are conflating truth with suffering. The audience doesn't need the truth of the packet loss. They need the information in the presentation. If I have to leave for 2 minutes to clear the cache and return with the stable connection, I am keeping things moving. The alternative is a degraded signal that wastes everyone's time. The rescue line is a promise of a better state in 2 minutes.
It's a promise, sure, but it's also a unilateral decision. The speaker seizes control by leaving. I'll rejoin. It's not asking for permission. It's declaring a recess. And I think that goes back to the hidden English. The script empowers the speaker to control the narrative of the failure. If I stay on the line, the failure is happening to me. If I use the rescue line, I am managing the failure.
Exactly. That is my point. You just articulated why it is a tool for leadership. You are managing the failure. That is what leaders do. They don't wallow in the problem. They execute a protocol to solve it.
But let's look at the term broadcast in the source. The technical meltdown broadcast. A broadcast is one-way communication. It's not a dialogue. You don't discuss the meltdown, you broadcast it. This reinforces the idea that the script is about shutting down inquiry. You don't want IT jumping in to ask, have you tried this? You don't want a colleague suggesting a fix. You want to broadcast the state of affairs. Screen froze on me. And then execute the rescue line. It's a closed loop designed to prevent anyone else from seeing behind the curtain.
It has to be a closed loop. Have you ever been in a meeting where 3 people try to troubleshoot one person's audio simultaneously? Is it your mic? Check your settings. Maybe log off. It's chaos. It is the opposite of professional. It erodes confidence faster than silence does. The broadcast cuts through that noise. It asserts the state of reality so that the group can adjust. And I want to return to your skepticism about the 2 minutes. You seem to view this time as a deceptive interlude. But from a technical standpoint, 2 minutes is often the exact time required for a system reset or a router cycle. The specificity of 2 minutes in the rescue line suggests an empirical basis, not a deceptive one. If it were a vague excuse, the script would say, I'll be right back. But 2 minutes is a commitment. It creates a countdown clock. That adds pressure to the speaker. It doesn't relieve it.
That's a compelling argument, but I would argue the 2 minutes is arbitrary psychological anchoring. It's short enough that people won't leave the meeting, but long enough to fix whatever the real issue is. If you say 5 minutes, people go get coffee, the meeting energy dies. If you say 1 minute, you might miss the window and look incompetent. 2 minutes is the Goldilocks zone of excuse making. It manages the audience's patience perfectly. It says, hold on, but not for too long.
Excuse making. See, there it is again. You view the technical failure as an excuse. I view it as a reality. You seem to think that Wi-Fi networks are perfect and only fail when someone is unprepared.
Not at all. I know tech fails, but I also know human nature. And the source material calls it the technical meltdown script. Meltdown is a catastrophic word. It brings to mind, I don't know, nuclear reactors, or a toddler having a fit in a grocery store.
Or a CPU overheating.
It suggests a total loss of composure. Yet the script is about projecting total composure. There is a dissonance there. The title admits the internal reality, meltdown, while the rescue line projects the external fiction, keeping things moving. The gap between those two things is where the drama lives. My concern is that by relying on this script, we are training ourselves to be inauthentic. We are performing the role of the efficient worker hindered by tech, when sometimes we are just the unprepared worker needing a moment.
I'm not convinced by that line of reasoning because it assumes the worst of the speaker. It assumes the meltdown is internal and emotional rather than technical and systemic. The source material is dealing with the reality of the technical meltdown, the system melting down.
But the hidden English is repercussions. That's the human element. The machine doesn't care about repercussions. The human does. The router doesn't worry about its quarterly review.
The human must care about repercussions. That's what professionalism is, caring about the outcome. If I use a script to ensure the outcome is a saved meeting rather than a ruined one, that is not inauthenticity, that is skill. Let's look at the phrase "screen froze on me" again. You called it passive. I call it precise. In a digital environment, that is exactly what happens. The image becomes static, the flow stops. Acknowledging that reality, broadcasting it, is the first step in the rescue. You seem to want the speaker to confess sins, whereas the script tells them to fix the signal.
I want the speaker to own the room, not cede it to the Wi-Fi. When you say the screen froze on me, you are playing the victim. When you say I'll rejoin, you are playing the scene. I argue that a true leader might handle it differently. They might say, I am having an issue, let's pause. But the script adds this layer of performative efficiency to keep things moving. It protests too much. It tries too hard to convince us that everything is fine.
It tries to convince the audience that the speaker is fine, which is essential. If the speaker panics, the audience loses faith. The script is a container for the anxiety. It allows the speaker to compartmentalize the meltdown into a broadcast. It puts the chaos in a box.
It's a container or it's a mask. And masks can slip. If you use the rescue line every week, eventually people realize your Wi-Fi isn't the problem. The drama becomes a rerun. And that's when the hidden English of repercussions becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you use buffering as a shield too often, eventually the shield breaks. People start to wonder why your screen is the only one freezing on you.
But we are discussing the text as a singular protocol for a specific event, the technical meltdown. It's not the habitual incompetency script. It's for the meltdown.
But the existence of the script implies the frequency of the event. If we need a codified hidden English for glitchy and buffering, it means these terms are doing heavy lifting in our corporate lexicon. We are hiding behind them. We've created a vernacular of exoneration. It's not me, it's the buffer.
We are surviving through them. The digital landscape is hostile. Connections drop, hardware fails. This script gives us a weapon to fight back, a rescue line. It's aptly named. It throws a rope to the drowning presentation. It acknowledges that in the digital workplace, we are all precarious.
Or it's the rope the speaker uses to pull themselves out of a hole they dug, while leaving the audience staring at a blank screen for 2 minutes, wondering if repercussions are coming for them too.
I think we're at the heart of the disagreement here. I see a toolkit for resilience. You see a playbook for evasion.
Precisely. I see drama. You see protocol.
So let's wrap this up. We've looked at the technical meltdown script, examining its 3 pillars: the broadcast, the hidden English, and the rescue line. From my perspective, this document is a testament to professional resilience. The digital world is unpredictable. By having a prepared rescue line, I'll rejoin in 2 minutes to keep things moving, the speaker transforms a chaotic, potentially career-damaging moment into a managed pause. They use language like "screen froze on me" not to deflect, but to accurately describe the technical reality and depersonalize the error so the work can continue. It is about respecting the audience's time enough to have a plan. It transforms helplessness into action.
And I maintain that the language reveals a deeper anxiety. The categorization of this event as drama and the inclusion of repercussions suggests that this script is often used as a shield. It encourages us to treat technical failures as a performance, where we use terms like buffering to mask the human fear of judgment. The rescue line effectively allows the speaker to escape the room, edit their reality, and return composed, which, while effective, prioritizes the speaker's image over total transparency. It turns a glitch into a stage play.
It's a fascinating tension. I mean, the source material really highlights the intense pressure of digital presentations. We are all just one bad connection away from that drama.
Absolutely. And that simple sentence, "My Wi-Fi is acting up," carries so much weight. It's loaded with professional reputation, fear of repercussions, and the desperate need to control the flow of information. It's never just about the Wi-Fi.
No, it's about the person behind the screen. And I suppose, ultimately, we'll leave it to you, the listener. Is the rescue line something you should memorize for your next meeting to show leadership?
Or should you question the authenticity of the next technical meltdown you witness? Is it a crash or is it a curtain call?
That's for you to decide. Thanks for listening to The Debate.